Here on the YAWG pod, we aim to answer life's biggest questions. Do aliens exist? Is the government controlling us through mirrors? Are gas station TVs the worst invention in human history? If you're looking for well thought out, informed, or even coherent answers to these questions, then you're in the wrong place and you're asking the wrong guys. Welcome to the second episode of the YAWG pod. Bone has this hot take on deadlifts. It's dumb. You want to go ahead and tell your hot take on deadlifts?
I really have a hot take. I just think they're not that necessary.
I think it's ice cold.
I think you can do. I only bring it up because you deadlift. It's not necessary to making your legs bigger, growing muscle. It does help, sure, but I think it hurts more people than it helps if you do it wrong. If you do it wrong, you can mess your back up.
So you just have bad form, so you're saying. You scared of the deadlift? You see weight on the ground, and you're like, nope, can't do that. I got to flip over my back and then bench press.
Do you squat? You could do lunges because you have a dumbbell. You have a bench press.
I also do lunges. I do all those things.
I'm just saying, I don't think you have to do deadlifts.
I mean, just because both of you are scared of squats and deadlifts, it's not my fault.
I think if you're
scared of them, it's like that you're more like, hey man, I'm gonna do this one workout that's completely like not. The health risks versus the benefits is just it's not there. It's not there.
Hey, are you preparing for a one-on-one?
Who you doing?
I was gonna say that I don't think it's just me. I mean, Bowen does it too, and he's like, "Nah, man, I'm not down for deadlifts no more. Like, I'm just not about that. Squats are fine. Like, I'm not against squats. Squats definitely are good, but deadlift is like, especially, it's such a risky move. It's such a risky. Like,
what's risky about picking up weight?
So easy to lose on a deadlift.
So when someone's like, "Hey, I need your help moving this couch," you're just like, "I can only do it on my back. I'm sorry. I can get on my back. I can push it up and I can inch my way forward, but I can't pick this couch up."
I didn't want to bring up the whole you messing up dinner thing, but I'll add that in there too. You instead of deadlifting, spending this time.
It was not me that messed up dinner.
It's like Matthew just messes up dinner and just runs outside.
Amber's very new to cooking, and she gets very self-conscious when something gets messed up.
Matthew, you could accept the blame. You're the one telling everybody Amber did it. We were trying to put the blame on you.
Yeah.
You're the one saying no, it was Amber.
First off, Matthew, your cooking should be so good that it counteracts whatever mistake she made.
I'm gonna fight somebody. Amber wants me to say she's not new to cooking. She's cooking new things.
All I'm saying.
I didn't hear you guys' roast of me. I didn't hear it, so it definitely doesn't count because I didn't hear it.
What's the football drill where we were one-on-one? We used to go get in a circle.
Leverage.
Okay, that's what I was trying to say. I was going to say, are you training for leverage? That's what I was like. You're not exactly, so you don't need to be doing.
You got to get good at deadlifts because, like, they're really only heavy weight you're going to
car that might stall
in adulthood.
In neutral.
Just interrupt me again. The only heavy weight you're going to do in adulthood is like moving things for your friends. And what is moving things? It's deadlifting. So you're going to hurt your back moving a couch because you didn't get your form right in deadlifting.
I know. It's all back. I know.
And you're going to have a hurt back because you've been deadlifting and you won't be able to lift the couch. So, okay, we're in the same place. Speaking of unnecessary things,
thank you for admitting it was unnecessary.
Count down our top 5.
Did you rig
we're
that?
Count down,
Did you rig that?
Yeah.
Our top 5 unnecessary inventions or our top 5 worst inventions to us personally. I took a personal after this. Like, it's easy to say, like, the atomic bomb was a bad invention, but like that doesn't impact me. So I did my top 5 worst. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to go around 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If someone takes someone else's, you can just say where you had it and yours and do your input. But so someone will say theirs, we'll give our input, and then we'll go down. And then after that, we have a new segment called "We Stole This from Another Podcast / Show," and we're gonna do a topic from another show.
Okay, I got two comments before you begin. First comment: don't count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 on the mic. Okay, don't ever do that again. That was awkward. Number 2.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Number 2 is that Matthew, I feel like sometimes we leave the listeners out to dry. Tell us what made you want to bring this topic into the podcast, or Amber? Why was this? Did you encounter an unnecessary invention? You're like, man, I need to rant about this.
No, when Amber said it, it sparked this debate, which is my number 4 in worst inventions. But it was just Amber brought it up today.
Why'd she bring it up? Did she encounter one? Lay up the alley-oop for us, man. Did you see on TikTok or something? Worst inventions?
She saw an egg thing on
Okay,
TikTok.
so there you go. That's all we need. TikTok showed
Bone, were you
us.
saying something? Because you're quiet. I don't know if I can't hear you or if you just didn't say anything. We can't hear you.
Yeah, can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
I swear this.
Here on the
this
YAWG pod, we
dude's
bring
mic-
quality content.
This dude's
not
mic is
even
unplugged
touching it,
all the
for
time.
real.
All the time, it's unplugged.
I don't. Sometimes I could be saying something gold, like a gold nugget, a little something in there, and I never know if it's getting caught or not.
I can tell when Bowen says something and it's good, and then I'm like, he didn't say anything. So I can't hear him.
All right, so Amber
I'm
saw
going to start off
something
number
on the
5 before we
podcast.
get all this nonsense that Boone's doing. My number 5 is saunas. Someone comes up, so say you're just walking through, it's a normal day. Say it's like the spring, so it's like 70 degrees. Someone's like, hey, you want to come in this hot room and get naked with me and sweat? Does that sound fun to you? Does that sound relaxing or fun? No. That's like the worst idea I could imagine in my head is someone who enjoys that.
No, Matthew,
It's
what
like,
you
hey, you
gonna-
want to come in
okay,
a
yeah.
hot room and sweat with me? No.
When you put it like that, it does not sound very good. That's a funny way to put it.
There's no like you go to the gym to sweat and get hot, and that's the bad part about going to the gym. But there's people have saunas, and they're like, oh, I just want to do this for fun. I'm gonna go sit in a hot car like an abandoned dog, and that's what I'm gonna do today. That's the worst invention. It's my number 5 worst invention. I wanted to put it higher, but I got.
I want to
some
create
more
a
beats.
skit where Matthew walks up to some dude and like, "Hey man, you want to go get you want to go get
No, somebody
naked
walks up to
together and
Matthew.
sweat?
Somebody- yeah.
Get naked together and sweat.
I just bring
With
like
no
a 2-person
TV,
sauna.
no
Or
entertainment.
you
You,
get
just
naked,
got,
get to a
you, want,
hot room.
you want to stare at a wall while you're being hot.
It's like Impractical Jokers. We just have like a 2-person sauna where you stare at each other on wheels, and you're like, hey, want to get in this with me? You guys made
pretty
top 5 lists, I hope.
That's
Who
pretty
wants
good.
to go next? Bowen's next in order on my screen if he wants to go next.
Okay.
It's my fifth. My fifth most useless invention is stockpile/seed game inhaler. That's stupid. It didn't need to be added. No one needed to add that game or create that game.
For listeners who don't know, there's a game mode in Halo where the whole goal of the game, there's these seeds that spawn on the map, and you got to pick the seeds up and bring it back to your base, and it's dumb. And not only is it dumb, but there's in that game mode, you don't get to pick the specific version of it, but it just gives us that game mode over and over again. And we don't want to play the seed game.
You don't want to play the seed game, and it's very rare that you even get into it to get Big Team Battle to work. But yeah, that's my fifth.
That's a
Pretty
good one.
If
That's
you know.
definitely a good one. I have a pretty good list here. I felt like when I kept making my list, I kept thinking of things that were outdated more than it was things that were just completely useless. But I think I'm going to throw my whole list away. I think I'm going to go ahead and start one fresh here. The most useless invention is podcast topics without any good intros.
You got any examples?
Well, I think what just happened really was, hey guys, we're just going to talk randomly about useless inventions. We have no reason why, nothing life applying. Just want to talk about it. No,
When you come up with an idea, and you present that to us to talk about on the podcast, then you can come with your own.
I can assure you, every time I come up with an
Yes,
idea,
see?
I will give you a good story with it. All you had to do is say,
I'm
Amber
saying,
was
you
scrolling
keep
the old
saying
top
when?
tick, and she found this, and then there you go.
You keep saying when you have an idea, and I've yet to see an idea.
Okay, let's
Anyway,
not get sassy.
No, I have my first one. My first one is going to be, I don't know. It's Matthew said kitchen appliances, like it's probably going to be what his is driven by, and unfortunately, I went that route with a couple of mine. But I don't know. I know this is going to trigger some people. I know it's going to trigger some people because some people probably find these things super useful, but I find butter knives completely useless. But my reasoning why now I don't get for safety reasons, just have a kid knife. Like there's little plastic kid knives for them to spread their food with. But the fact that there's a knife that isn't really meant to cut, but it's just meant to kind of like shove your bread apart in a way, or just like everything gets stuck to it. I mean, a regular knife does the job and does it better. It's the whole argument with the paper towel versus napkin. It just a knife does the job a lot better than a butter knife. If you're a grown up, just use a knife.
I get what you're saying, but it's right there in the name. The butter knife is meant to spread butter.
I don't think it even
Nothing
spreads
else.
butter. It's too wide. Get a thinner knife and it's going to
No.
cut the better.
I use a butter knife all the time. I make these like breakfast burrito tortilla things, and I spread sauce on it. And then I just am a man, so I just use the butter knife to cut it in half.
I do think the butter knives are.
Well, I crisp the
they're better
tortilla, so it's
replaced
easy.
with sharp knives. Like, I'm not a little kid. I'm not going to cut myself with the sharp knife doing things that a butter knife is meant to do. But it's sort of like the paper towel argument. Like, napkins are useful, but like the paper towel is better at everything a napkin does. A butter knife can be useful, but a regular knife's better. So like even like spreading stuff, like you can just get a spatula to spread stuff like a Penn Station.
Yep.
So I like that. I like your number 4. Number 5. So my number 4 is related. It's the kitchens, but I said in general just appliances that are only meant to do one thing that other things can do. So like for example, like one of those vegetable choppers that you just slap. Like that's what a
I
knife.
love
You
that.
just chop up
What's
the
that
vegetables.
called? That commercial. That's the
Slap chop.
Slap chop. I love when he just
So
throws
things like that,
on.
or like someone who has like an egg cracking tool, like that. What do you need an egg cracking tool for? Just crack your eggs, and like especially bigger appliances like a blender that you can only blend like cups in for smoothies. Just get a regular blender and pour your smoothie into a cup, and then you can use that blender for tons of other things instead of just fitting things in one little cup.
And usually that
things
cup's
like
small.
that.
Usually that cup's small too.
And that's not just kitchen appliances. Like there's like gimmicky tools and stuff that's only designed to do one specific task. When you can get another tool that can do that same task and 1,000 other tasks.
That's just for
You only
people.
got about
It's for
one.
people who have a big kitchen with a lot of
I
money.
love
They're
how
like,
Matthew
I gotta
just,
fill this up. with
Matthew
stuff.
literally just went and like turned on his TV at like 2:00 at night and was like, everything they're advertising is what I'm getting mad about.
Yes, I almost put infomercials on my list, but I didn't. Because I was like, I can just put what the infomercials are selling.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I kind of like infomercials. I like to fall asleep to it. Sometimes I look up YouTube.
That's why I did. I
compilations.
was like, I sort of like infomercials. Like you wake
No.
up in the middle of the night, you're safe with the infomercial.
We're about to
Yeah,
go on a
safe.
whole
You
rant
are
about
safe with the
you are safe,
infomercial.
but
No, I agree with Matthew. That was a good way to put it because I have to worry about something
for 4
weird going
payments
on.
at $19.99 plus shipping and handling. No, the thing about infomercials for me was when as a kid, you know when those things are coming on at night, all the good stuff, all the George Lopez, the Full House, it's all over from here, buddy. You're watching infomercials till 6 a.m. it's like there's nothing good on anymore, and that just brings
Agreed,
back.
agreed.
That brings me back.
Bowling, what's your number 4?
My number 4 is going to be okay. I don't know what they're called, but you know those chairs? They're really big, like the round chairs that are kind of shaped like a bowl. It's like got a cushion. Yeah, that's my number 4. They look really comfy, and my sister Sydney had one. But like you get in it, and you're like, I don't really know what I'm
folding
doing.
one.
Yeah, yeah,
what I'm doing.
You know, I don't know what I'm doing, and then you're like, this feels like it's going to be hard to get out of. That's like what you immediately think of, and then you just can't really enjoy it.
Yes. Especially, I do hate those things because there's always a weight limit, and it's always like 50 pounds less than what I currently weigh.
Well, they creak the
So
whole
I don't
time.
have ever sat
It's
in
made
one
out of this like
confidently.
weak wood, and then it's like the worst part is the cushion doesn't attach, so the cushion will just slide out
slide
of it
off,
all
yeah.
the time. I know because McKenna's friend has one, and they're always using.
And those ones that McKenna's family has, it's like bungee cord.
Yes.
I'd be like terrified. You just like sit in that, and then you get like trapped, like a net in the jungle that you step on.
Yeah, yeah.
That's good.
We don't
that's
need
good. Let me see what my next one is.
Boone, you got your number 3.
Okay, my next one goes kind of hand in hand with my first one, but after this, I don't have any
4.
more. I'm not doing it in that order, Matthew. Like you're the only one that does that order, so you're the only lame one here. Okay, I just want to let that be known. But let me see. I want to make sure that this is my last one. That's a kitchen appliance. Because once you got that in my head, I was like, that's really where most of the useless things are. But listen, this is another one. I really do.
It wasn't useless. It was worst. It was worse invention.
Oh, okay. Well, either way, I'm still on the track, but this could still qualify for worse. But anyway, Matthew might get triggered about this one. I'm just telling you this. When I was thinking about this, and I was thinking Matthew, but I think it is pointless. Let me finish before you guys interrupt. I think it's pointless to have the giant knife sets because 3 knives. All you need are about 3, maybe 4 knives to do whatever you need to cut with. Chopping, filleting, get some knives. But when I have a knife set downstairs. We got for the wedding, and it has like 20 freaking knives, and half of them look the exact same. But it's like they're trying to phony what the other one's doing. Like I'm like, okay, I'm never going to use half these knives. I go to the old reliable, the Michael Myers big old chopper. I have a flat one that kind of looks like a little mallet. And I got a little chopper. That's all I ever use. Okay? So I'm saying I think it's useless and pointless to have that many knives. I don't care who you are. Matthew can sit here. I know what he's about to say. I use all my knives, brother. I use all my knives. I know you don't. I already know. I know there's a knife in there that has some dust sitting on it right now. Maybe all the other ones got some, but that's got dust on it.
Number one, your prediction is way off. I completely agree with you. Knife collections are stupid. I have one knife, like style of knife. The only reason I have multiple of them is because I don't want to wash it every time I use it. So I have like 3. But I only have one. Like I have chef's knives, like 8-inch chef's knives. That's all I use. You can use that for anything. Sometimes it's useful to have a smaller knife if you want to cut smaller things. But I never use that. The only reason I ever use those knives is if I don't want to wash anything. And the reason we have so many knives is because we got like 3 silverware sets for our wedding.
Yeah, it's true. I'm glad you're on the same page, Matthew. The only thing is,
I am on your side. That sort of goes into my thing, like my single use thing. Like you get a bread knife, all you can cut with is bread. Like what's the point? How much bread do you cut?
That makes so much sense because now that I think about it, Matthew basically verbalized what I do. I could just use that one knife, but I'm too lazy. It's in the dishwasher, so I just grab a new one. And I'll start grabbing it. Once all the good ones are in there, then I pull out this little blade one. I'm like, man, I'm about to cut this whole chicken with this thing, man. Like that.
I agree, but it kind of looks nice, but I do agree. It's like a thing to have, but other than that.
My number 3, I don't really know if there's any difference between regular and caffeine-free soda, but any version of soda that's caffeine-free automatically tastes worse. One, what's the point of having soda without caffeine in it? It's like having decaf coffee. We've already had that argument.
Yes.
2, even if, for example, Kroger brand Sprite Zero, it used to not say caffeine-free on it. And I used to love it. And then they changed their marketing, they changed their logos, and now it's just caffeine-free, and it tastes different. And I don't know if they changed anything, but it's gross now, and I don't like it. And it's because it's caffeine-free. And, the same thing with every single version of a drink that's caffeine-free, it's worse. And, I don't know if there's any difference at all. But to me, it tastes worse, and it's dumb.
So, hold on, Matthew, hold on. Is that found in the Old Testament or the New Testament? Because this boy's out here preaching. Okay, he's out here preaching. I can't even. Every time I see it, I'm like, who? I'm surprised if any of that even gets poured into someone's drink, unless it's a little kid and he accidentally did the little suicide thing and started getting all the shots, and then he accidentally clicked that one. Because I bet the little kid even regrets. Dang, why did I get the caffeine-free one? No one gets that crap. No one gets the mug, the root beer mug with the little dog face that has caffeine-free over top of it. No one ever gets that. Stop supplying it.
To clarify, suicides are when you get a little of every drink at a beverage fountain.
It has another name that's more appropriate, but I can't remember what it was called. I cannot remember.
I don't remember.
It's what I called it, but I heard someone call it suicides here recently. But that's the last time we need to say that word. But thank you for the context for the viewers.
Warning.
For the viewers.
My next one, the Cincinnati Bengals for, self-explanatory reasons.
I agree.
Why are you out here? Why are you out here trying to get rid of our viewers, Bowen? Why are you out here
I'm not. I'm just, it didn't need to happen. It didn't need to be a thing.
I agree wholeheartedly. I'm not going to go. I don't really have any supporting arguments for that. Because that's basically what you need to say. Like Cincinnati Bengals, and then you sort of think of throwing up in your mouth a little bit.
This is where video editing would come in so handy. Matthew's over here saying, I agree wholeheartedly, and you show a Pee-wee picture of Matthew have his hand on a Bengals helmet. That would be so good because Matthew played for the Bengals in FYFL, so that's great. I agree wholeheartedly. They should never have existed. Dang, both of you. Matthews has been actually. I mean, the Bengals one's just a cop out, but it's funny.
Not a cop out.
But Matthews has been really fire. Like caffeinated. That's probably number one.
Oh yeah, it's like when you plan something and you have ideas.
I'm so triggered.
Think
let me
about
see.
it.
Okay, let me see. How many more do I got?
Boone's number 3. He doesn't agree. He doesn't believe in countdown, so this is his number 3 for organizational
this
purposes.
next one, I don't know if it's. I have 6 total. But I'm deciding on my next 2. Let me see. I'll just go ahead. Okay, the next one I'm going to say is one that I think is just common sense. That's going to be a pun here in just a second. Is change, because pennies and nickels specifically. I get it. Back in like the 60s or before, that was actually made out of copper or nickel. It was made out of the metal that it had value. Now, I even did a little quick research on it to make sure I'm not some dumb guy. They really do lose money by making a penny. It costs 2 more cents. It costs a cent, 1.2 cents to make 1 penny. And I'm like, so you're selling us this fake monopoly money, this little monopoly money, and we're supposed to pretend it's real? I was like, Canada already got on the train here, boys. I was like, we need to stop playing ourselves and acting like this metal's real. Like this is just little fake metal.
I think you're making a backwards argument. Metal is actually worth something. Dollars aren't worth anything. It's just paper.
Well, it's not worth what they're telling us. It's not worth it's not a copper. It's not a copper penny. It's not a nickel.
Yes.
Stop calling it
That's
nickel.
just all money, though.
Just call it 5 cents. That's what they should say.
That it's called fiat currency, but I'll expand further. I agree with you. All money's dumb.
Bitcoin. That's what this is. Bitcoin. Invest in crypto.
Yeah, the blockchain is real.
It is real. I've seen it.
No, but change. Change is dumb, especially like the pandemic's been great. It's like no one you don't even expect to have change anymore. It used to be really inconvenient when you got change. You pay with cash. You had to put it in your pocket. It filled up your pockets. Then you got to put it in a jar. Then you had to carry the heavy jar to the bank. It's just a hassle. Now don't got to worry about change.
Well, the
anymore.
reason,
Yeah, but I had to put air in my tires though. It is cold out. And I had to. My thing kept going off, so I did use quarters for that.
But that's
They
what I'm
came
about to
in
say.
handy.
That's when I was having this thought. When you guys were texting me on my way home, when I was making the wrong text back because I was voice typing. What I was thinking is it was all revolving around we need change for, and I was like, vending machines, pumping up my tires, or these things, parking meters, and then I started thinking to myself, I was like, those things are so outdated. Like if I go up to a vending machine and it doesn't accept card, I mean, you're so useless. It's hilarious. No one's walking around with little pennies and little quarters in their pockets.
My air pump at my gas station in my neighborhood takes card.
I know most of them are updating to that, but then I'm telling
The
you,
one I used
downtown
did
Lexington,
have that, but I just happened to have $2 worth of quarters, so I was like, I'm just gonna.
Well,
use
my
these
dad
quarters.
always told me, he's like, you gotta keep $2 worth of quarters always for air pump, and I'm like, nowhere else do I need this. This is for the air pump.
It's like
this is like
you
the
got
air
change
pumps.
in your thing. You're like, what am I going to do with this change? How am I going to get? You got to look for ways to get
It's
rid
like
of
the
it.
air pump's the mafia coming for you,
Yeah.
trying to get your change.
You got to pay your dues every once in a while.
You only got to pay it to
The air
them.
pumps are racketeering. We got to bring racketeering charges against the air pump, the big air pump. So
That's good.
I'll move on to my next one. This is
Are
probably
we on number 2 now?
number 2. This is my number 2. This is in general, it's a bad invention, but for me, cigarettes. I've never smoked anything in my life, but like you're walking down the street, just walking down the street, beautiful sunny day. Someone's smoking a cigarette next to you, you smell, and then you ruin your day. It gets in their clothes, and it gives you a headache. You're like, "Blah!" You want to throw up again. Like you just want to throw up again, and it's just gross. Sorry, Paul.
They are gross. I do agree.
This is another moment
And
where he
also-
posts a
and
picture.
also,
This is where he posts a picture of Bo with this jewel right here.
The Jules
No,
aren't as
I'm
bad.
just
They are
kidding.
bad
They are as
health wise,
bad.
but
They're
like
not.
Well,
at least
they aren't
the
gross. I
smell.
won't say gross.
They're not as gross.
They are, but they are a bad invention.
You're
I agree.
right. You're right. They're
No,
not
I
as
wasn't
gross. There's
I wasn't saying cigarettes because millions of people die each year from smoking them. I was saying cigarettes because they smell terrible.
That's
They're
the only reason
different.
you think it's a bad invention.
Yeah, worse.
Because
worse
it
invention.
smells
Yeah.
bad. That's the only
it
one.
does smell
Correct.
bad.
You're not
It
worried
is an
about all the
atrocious
deaths.
smell.
and,
It really is.
I know,
This
but
was
you could have
personal.
went.
I could have put atomic bomb on here, but that's a terrible invention. I could have put.
You could lump all those in there for that.
Yeah, but
thing.
you don't. Yeah, I get where Matthew's going. You don't want to be too campy. You don't want to say it for all those reasons. You want to go your own.
I would
unique
like
ways.
to, world hunger is the worst invention of all time.
I just named the entire Cincinnati Bengals organization as a thing. Didn't give any
Matthew's
reasons,
list,
really.
I agree with. Matthew's got a fire list right now. Flame. All right, Bowen, go
I
ahead.
still haven't had my number
It's
one yet.
good. It's good. Okay,
I haven't had
I
all of
start
them.
getting personal. Actually, I didn't even really realize.
Yeah, what do you
it
mean you
started,
already
yeah.
did the Bengals? How more?
No, because then
personal?
I wrote chili on top of spaghetti.
What's the next one? Cincinnati.
For those that don't know the timing
What's the
of
next
this,
one? Just
the
Cincinnati
Bengals
in
have
general.
recently-
No.
the number one for Bowen is Cincinnati, the city.
No, I actually did. There's a skyline right by me, and I do kind of.
I love.
I do
Skyline.
like their. I like their the chili dogs.
Dude, the little cheese.
Yeah, I agree
The
with you.
cheese they put on their their dogs is amazing. Probably the best cheese in the world.
Yes.
It is good cheese.
100%.
I like it.
I
I
agree
do like
100%.
I thought it was funny.
Cheese conies are probably one of my favorite foods of all time.
Preach, man.
Putting chili on spaghetti is stupid. Why would you want just? Oh, you got this great chili with some noodles. With that, just the noodles.
Well, and spaghetti sauce is just so right. It just is so much better that it's like,
I would agree with you all on that, but I've never had their chili with spaghetti, so I don't know what it tastes like. But I also know that, like, I grew up with my dad just making, like, chili, and he just put noodles in it anyway. And it's just like a big pot of chili.
No, I've had that, yeah.
So it's kind of the same
It's been
thing.
more chili, yeah.
You see what I'm saying? I'm not too worried about that, but I get where you're coming from. I mean, Cincinnati does stink and stuff, but
Thank you.
but
What's your
let me
two?
see what my next one is. Gosh. This would be my next one. Okay, this one is one that a lot of people would think, like, differently than me. I feel like that way on all of them, but my most useless, pointless invention that is so overhyped infinitely is sunroofs on a car. Because I've had two. I just got my new car. I don't know if I discussed that with you. My granddad got me a new car and it has sunroof on it. We'll talk about that later. But anyway, a lot of cars I've drove have sunroofs on them. But here's the problem with sunroofs. Number one, they're so overhyped. Like I've had my car for 7 years and I've opened the sunroof like 4 or 5 times because every
On a
time you
back road,
open
they're
it,
kind of nice.
every time you open it, all it's doing is getting heat in your car. Why would I want to lose my air conditioning? Why would I want to do that? And then not only that, when you open it up, the sun has a direct beam onto your face, and it makes it hard to see. I'm telling you from experience every time. So, and they break. They're one of the most number one things to break on a car electronically is a sunroof. So I was like, these things are so overhyped. I promise you, anyone who gets them, like, sure, oh, dude, I can't wait for those summer days, those long summer trips so I can just open it up. And you're going to open it up, and you're going to be like, dang, it's like 95 out there. I don't want that. You're going to close it right back up.
Yeah, I had to put sunscreen
literally,
on.
you open it up, and literally this instant bugs have free access to you. Now, I know they have those little bugs flat things there, but at the end of the day, they're just useless. Just have a roof on your car. There's no hype for them.
I agree. Sunroofs are useless in the summer, but you're opening at the wrong time. It's 40 degrees outside. There's no bugs. 30 degrees snow. You just open it up. You're in a winter wonderland. Okay, you're like Santa on his sleigh. You got the sun in your the snow in your face, the cold air. It's great.
I felt like
Picture this: Mo's in your back seat. You rolled on all the windows, and then you rolled on the sunroof.
I feel like sunroofs are the same kind of like category as like 3D movies and like TVs. Remember they were like really hyped at first, and they were like, "Oh, look, this is how fancy this is. I'm gonna do this. It's all nice." And then everybody does it, and they're like, "This isn't really that great."
The reason why this came to me is like, hopefully my granddad never hears this podcast, but basically, I told my granddad here like a couple months ago. I was like, "Granddad, family's growing. I need to go from a 2-door to a 4-door." And so he was going to help me get a car. So that's ended up what happened. I got a Toyota Avalon, but he was like, he would literally be like,
Congrats.
He would go looking for a car, and he would say, "Oh man, it ain't got no sunroof." He's like, "Gotta have sunroof," and I'm like, "No, nowhere in my list of things that's needed. That's not on there. It's not even in the conversation." So he would literally turn down awesome cars because they ain't got a sunroof. Needless to say, this Avalon has a sunroof. I won't be using it.
I do like it in the rain, but you're right. In the summer, anytime that it's above 50 degrees, you can't open it.
That sounds like perfect, actually, opening degree. Actually, 65. Now, if you're like, okay, but picture taking like Leestown Road. And it's
But
like
if you roll down
65.
your window, it's the exact same effect, and you don't have the sun beating down on you. Exact same.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
if
I
it's
know.
cloud,
I
overcast, there's no sun. It's pretty cool.
I don't know. I've never opened it at
But
night.
there are very specific conditions in which a sunroof is good, and they're very few. Like they're very rare.
Yeah.
So I agree with you.
Okay, Matthew, what's your number one?
My number one. So this is going to be. It's not really an invention, but it's what people have done with it. So I'm gonna start broad. Sand. So you're right. Like sand is the worst. You go to the beach. The only thing that makes the beach bearable is the ocean. Okay, but here's where it gets bad. People take the sand and they take it to their house. Why? Why do you want sand everywhere? Like and even sand volleyball. That's dumb too. Why do I want sand everywhere? Sand gets everywhere. It gets in like you ever get sand in your mouth and then it's just gritty in your teeth. That's
Crunchy,
gross.
crunchy.
And you get all frictiony. Like you guys been to the beach and you know what it's like. But then like
I've
then
never
you're
been
at
to the
like
beach.
some little kids have sandboxes and they got sand all over them. Then they get sand all over you, and it's just like not fun. And then if you want to like play volleyball intramurals, then you gotta be like, oh, I gotta get sand everywhere. Then you get sand in your car and it never goes anywhere. Then you get sand in your bed and it never goes away. Sand in it never goes away. It's the worst invention of all time.
It's like
Not
glitter.
really an invention.
Yeah, I know. I don't think
but-
it's an invention though.
Yeah, it's
The
literally
application, the
pointing up to
invention
God.
of
Hey,
the
God, you made a
application
mistake here, buddy. I'm just gonna go
of sand in places that aren't beaches.
You
Is
should
the
have said
worst
like
invention of
glitter
all
though, because all those kinds
Oh,
of things kind
glitter.
of apply.
Yeah, but glitter
I
is
do
nowhere
have-
near as uncomfortable. So I'm right there with Matthew.
Yeah, it's not as uncomfortable as
So
sand.
Me
Sand's more
thinking of
uncomfortable.
going to the beach, I'm like, okay, dude, how am I going to get over this sandophobia? How am I going to get through this? And I might have a strategy that help you, Matthew. If you spend the whole day at the beach trying to avoid getting sand all on you, you're just going to have a bad time. Always going to have a bad
I know, that's what
so
I'm
you
saying.
Just need
You gotta, like,
dive in.
sit in the
You
sand
just got to dive into
and-
that sand. Just get it all over you. Get uncomfortable for about 5 minutes, and then it'll smoothen itself out.
Yeah, it's not so much the sand while I'm at the beach. It's that it never goes away.
You're correct.
It's like that movie It Follows, and it's just sand.
Everywhere.
I do have an honorable mention. I can go ahead and mention it because it's sort of the same thing. So I'm going to go with calories. That is it's not necessarily an invention,
What month-
but it's
what day is
like
it?
time. Like
26.
we invented it, and
It's
it's
like
dumb.
time.
Calories
I
are
don't
dumb.
want you to tell me that it's bad for me. Please, don't tell me.
Yeah.
That's good. I like Matthew. Matthew ended on a good one and a good note. The sand was a heavy hitter.
It was, but it's not really an invention though. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
My invention was the application of sand in things outside of nature.
I don't know if a football team can be called an invention either, Bowen. So I'm just gonna go ahead and help you.
It
out
was
there either.
invented.
I don't know if it's invented or created is the word. I don't know. It's different.
It's English. To
It's
each their own, I
English.
guess.
Okay, what's your number one, Bowen?
Okay, my number one is going to be. You're all going to agree. The East Side Penn Station.
Useless place.
Yeah,
Agree.
yeah.
I drive to the other side of town to go to when I want Penn Station because the east side is so
You got to
bad.
give some context
to
here
the
for the
other
listeners,
side of town,
Bowen.
see.
Besides for
No,
your
you
dad.
don't, because I don't want to get anybody. But we know why it's the worst. After
I really was waiting for you to say Cincinnati there at the end, Bowen. Kind of let down. Gotta be honest. Mine is one that you both will agree with. There's no way you don't. You both grow out your beards. Mine's going to be single-use men's razors. The reason why is because obvious reasons. I used to shave back when I could. I still can't even grow nothing, okay, honestly. But when I do grow something, it's so much easier now that I have an electric shaver that I can just shave it, get it down to the stubble, look presentable for whatever I need to look presentable for, and go on about my day. Back when I used to do the tight shave, the clean cut shave with the shaving cream, all that work, and then here I am, and then the next day,
wait, what do you say?
it's like this the whole day. Like, oh man, that itches. There's no good thing about it. Also, you save I don't even know. I wanted to research the money. You save hundreds of dollars a year if you're a regular shaver. If you just buy yourself an electric shaver that reuses. So there's such a pointless gimmick. I get triggered every time I see them. I'm like, who wants to do that? Electric one will do the work without the pain.
So
I don't even get an electric shaver.
razor blades. Is that what you're saying?
I'm talking about the little the little blue ones that are just a little blade. You just take the cover off, you use it, you're supposed to throw it away, like that. Because it's just too close. I could just say close shave. Anybody who actually shaves with a razor blade, at this point, if you just cut it tight enough with your electric shaver, it's gonna look like you just had a clean shave. But it's not going to leave your face itchy or this weird grow back phase where you might even get a couple little pimples, aftershave pimples, all this weirdness that you can avoid.
Or
Yeah, I don't even have an electric shaver anymore. I have a haircut
trimmers,
trimmer,
electric.
but it's designed to cut hair with. But I shave my beard with it. And it's way easier than an electric shaver even.
This is a good
Anyone got
segue
any
into
honorable mentions?
our Manscaped sponsor.
This episode sponsored by Manscaped. Get the whatever it's called,
Lawnmower 3.0.
Lawnmower 3.0. If you call them and give them enter code JJBBro, and they'll send you one for your head too.
JJBBRO.
If you want to see my cat on screen, you go to YouTube. Check out the timestamp right now. Bruce, what are you doing?
Matthew, what
Talk to yourself out loud.
What food were you? This is what I'm curious about. What was the food you all were cooking?
A chicken pot pie.
Why? Why would you do that? Why would you cook such a
Never wanted to try
disgusting invention?
Chicken pot pies are great. First of all, KFC has the best.
They do, but I don't even like chicken pot pies. I just think that they always taste bad, man.
We did feed it to the dog.
Marvel ate it. Is that what she said?
Now you have to give us details on what mistake happened. Was it sugar instead of salt? Salt instead of sugar?
One, instead of peas, we didn't like peas, but Amber put green onions in it. There are already onions in it, so it was
You don't
really
like
oniony.
peas.
2, the pan was too small, so it was all soupy instead of like a bigger pan. And I'm just gonna blame Amber 100%. I'm just kidding. She's trying really hard. But yeah, it was mostly just like, and then like the vegetables didn't cook all the way, but the crust was burned on the outside, and it was cooked on the outside, but not on the inside all the way. So it was a bit of a classic Boone move there, cooking on the outside, not the inside. Amber's blaming the recipe, even though she changed like 4 things at the recipe. She's one of those people. Like, this recipe sucked. I changed the whole thing.
What'd you get at Arby's? What'd you switcheroo?
I got a Greek hero. That's another thing
Heroes are
we need to
dope.
do is underrated fast food restaurants. Arby's is the way up.
Oh
there.
yeah, dude. People hate on Arby's, and Arby's low key running the game.
Yeah, but I've been on
So,
this thing recently though, where if I'm not feeling Arby's, I'm really not feeling it. But if I like crave it, I'm gonna go and get it like
Correct.
a euro or something. But like I have
Sucks
been
though
less.
to being on diet though, because
in the
like
middle.
the curly fries are so good, but they're so good.
Well, they have the crinkle cut, but I'm not a big fan of their curly fries. They're kind of like they've really been. Every time I get them, they're burnt. Every time they're too.
Bowen, Snack by that trade of the wheat. If you go to Arby's and get crinkle cut fries instead of curly fries, or snack.
I used to live on.
We'll save this for another episode when we talk about fast food restaurants.
Speaking of Arby's,
Or-
you know, a really famous person. I'm just trying to think.
No, we can just end the episode.